Namaste and welcome to Shiva Sai Mandir and Tridevi Chamunda Mandir in Denver, Colorado. This is Yamajit. Thank you so very much for joining me for Spring Navaratri, Chaitra Navaratri, Day 6. And today we are honoring Ma Chinnamasta, the form of the Divine Mother who literally gives everything for her children. Chinnamasta means she who severs her own head. And I want to thank Kim for joining us right now, and anybody else who's tuning in. Please feel free to say hello using the chat function on the bottom of your screen. Elizabeth, namaste, and glad you're joining me. So before we begin, quick announcement. I just want to remind everybody that we'll be coming back to 6 p.m. for our Navaratri observances. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be honoring two of the Mahavidyas, Ma Dhumavati, the widow, and Ma Baglamukhi, she who destroys falsehood. Thursday, the final celebration is actually day 10, which is Victory Day, and that will include a fire puja here at Shiva Sai Mandir. There'll be an abhishek to Shirdi Sai Baba. There'll be some bhajan singing. Those of you who'd like to come here in person, it's 1391 South Pennsylvania in Denver, Colorado, and everything will begin 6 o'clock that evening. So let's go ahead and start our satsang. Chinnamasta, the one who severs her own head. Chinnamasta means she who severs her own head. She is called Chinnamastika or Prachanda Chandika, the fiercest one who tears apart thoughts. This tantric goddess is a ferocious aspect of the Devi as identified by her fearsome imagery. She is pictured as a self-decapitated goddess who holds her own severed head in one hand and a sword in the other. 3 jets of blood spurt out from her bleeding neck, which is drunk by her own severed head and 2 daughters standing by each side. Traditionally, one blue in color on the left, the other on her right side, red. The 3 streams of blood represent the 3 main energy channels or nadis. Of the subtle body, Ida Nadi, the receptive feminine, lunar channel on the left, blue in color, Pingala Nadi, the dynamic or masculine solar channel on the right, is colored red. The central channel or Sushumna Nadi in the middle. Sushumna Nadi represents the central stream of blood which nourishes Chinnamasta herself. She is nude with crimson skin and disheveled hair, of course referring to sensuality and unbound Shakti energy. She wears a serpent or naga as a sacred thread, Kundalini rising, and sometimes she and her daughters hold skull cups or kapalas, the transformation of consciousness. And I want to refer to our imagery today before I go any further. This is a very tantric image of an already tantric goddess, Ma Chinnamasta. This is another painting in the Bengali style. We see her on a cremation ground. We see pyres burning behind her. We see some severed body parts, specifically heads, and these are being devoured by scavengers. We see a dog and 2 jackals feasting on the heads. She is sitting in a birth-giving posture upon Lord Shiva, and actually she is in copula with Lord Shiva. And we see Ma Ganga, the Ganges River, flowing from his top knot. And traditionally, that is the dwelling place of Ma Ganges. His top knot represents Mount Kailash, which is his dwelling place in the Himalaya Mountains. And she's gray in appearance, smeared with the ash of cremation. Then I'm going to show you a more traditional image, like the one I just described. This is from a Tibetan-style Thangka painting. And we see Ma Chinnamasta, the three streams of blood going to her two daughters. I'll be saying a little bit more about that as I finish the reading. And we see all three partaking of the three streams of blood, representing the three main energy channels. We see Chinnamasta standing upon Kama, the god of love, and his wife Rati. And there's a couple of interpretations to this image. One could represent the spiritual transcendence of flesh, or on the other end, a transcendent state through acts of love. She is surrounded by an archway of flames, and this is both consciousness and transformation, and of course the lotus of purity and wisdom below. And again, we see this flowing river from underneath her as well. So to go on with the reading, and again, this is from chapter 3 of my upcoming book, Kali Meditation, Book 5, which is centered on the 10 Mahavidyas. According to one legend, from the Pranotasani Tantra, Parvati, the wife of Shiva, bathed in a river and became sexually excited, making her skin turn black. At this time, her two daughters, Dakini and Varnini, also became extremely hungry and begged incessantly for food. Mommy, we're hungry. Though Parvati initially promised to give them food when they arrived back home, her daughters would not stop begging. In the end, she decided to behead herself using her fingernails and gave them blood to satisfy their hunger. Both of her daughters are depicted as nude as well, with three eyes, awareness in all states of consciousness, wearing the same serpentine sacred threads, and carrying skull bowls in their left hands and knives in the right. While her daughter named Dakini, the sky dancer, is blue-skinned and represents Tamas Guna. Her other daughter, Varnini, woman, is red-complected and embodies the Rajas Guna. Chinnamasta herself represents Sattva Guna. Chinnamasta is usually portrayed as standing on a copulating couple who are Lord Kama, the god of love, and his wife Rati. There are two interpretations of this image, either the spiritual transcendence of the flesh or the transcendent spiritual experience, which is the result of tantric lovemaking. The whole scene takes place on a cremation ground, representing the dissolution of ego attachments. As the figure of Chinnamasta suggests, this particular Mahavidya is associated with the concept of selfless service or seva, as well as the awakening of Kundalini, the spiritual energy lying dormant within Sushumna Nadi. She exists as the Divine Mother who literally gives everything for her children. Because Chinnamasta is considered a dark and dangerous deity, to some devotees of Hinduism, she has few temples, with the exceptions in northern India and Nepal. Her individual worship is thus most often within the realm of tantric practices. Ma Chinnamasta is recognized by Hindus as well as Buddhists. In Tibet and Nepal, her image evolved into the feminine Buddha, Vajrayogini, and her fiercer variations, the red Vajravarahi and the black Tromanagma, also known as Krodh Kali or wrathful Kali. And so we see Vajrayogini, this little statuette here, in a very similar position to the traditional Vajrayogini image, and I'm going to add her to our altar today. I want to refer back to the Tanka painting because we see the wrathful one of the wrathful Vajra yoginis, Vajravadahi, in the center of this Tanka painting. And there are pictures of Vajra yogini herself with her head severed that we sometimes see. In the course of spiritual development, we begin our journey in a state of distress. With the help of the Divine Mother, we go through the process of inner healing and transformation. And we saw that embodied in Kali, Tara, Sodashi, Bhuvaneshwari, and Bhairavi. In time, we reach a point where that divine healing within can no longer be contained within oneself. Instead, it is burst forth to be shared with others. And this is the ultimate goal of our spiritual workings, to become conduits of the divine, working in a co-creative role by healing others, and the stages in which we manifest the divine will within our own spheres of influence, and the methods we might employ as a result of this process. So again, the order of the Mahavidyas represent a course of spiritual evolution. Really, the first 5 represent the process where we heal within. And again, that reaches a point where we can no longer contain that healing. It springs forth, and we share that healing with the world around us. And this was something that my late friend and teacher, Nafia of Shiva Sai Mandir, talked about. And even other spiritual figures in psychology like Carl Jung also described this process. Yesterday, we talked about Sri Ramakrishna and his spiritual wife Sardama. And she herself is a wonderful embodiment of seva as a spiritual practice unto itself. When Ramakrishna died of throat cancer, she took over the Ramakrishna order. And it was under her leadership that the order shifted from a devotional order of monks to a very powerful charitable organization that exists to this very day. So, Jai Ma Chinnamasta. Jai Ma Chinnamasta.
Jai Ma Chinnamasta.
Jai Ma Chinnamasta. So, for our meditational reading, I'll once again be sharing from this little book, Kali the Mother, by Sister Nivedita, who was a disciple of both their disciple, Swami Vivekananda, who we see on the bottom, and also she became a very close disciple of Sardama herself. And our 4th chapter, which I'll be sharing, is the voice of the mother. So with that, I invite you to take a comfortable seated position. Find a comfortable position where your back can be straight. Those of you who are joining us on YouTube, you can look upon your screen with a relaxed gaze, focusing on this image of Ma Chinnamasta. Breathe deeply. Take a moment for grounding, for centering. Preparing for meditation, letting go of the concerns of yesterday and tomorrow, focusing your awareness on this present moment. Connecting with whichever form of the Divine Mother you are closest to. Or as Ramakrishna taught, there are many pathways to the source. And remember the intention that you've made for yourself during this Navaratri season, for healing within yourself or for someone close to you. And once again, acknowledge that in taking part in today's practice, you're taking yet another very powerful step toward that healing, toward that resolution, toward that understanding. And I invite you now to bring the palms of your hands together at your heart center. And we'll begin our practice today by chanting 3 times the seed syllable Hum, which is the Bij mantra for Chinnamasta Devi. So inhale. Have a deep inhale. One more deep inhalation. Inhale and exhale. Let your hands rest comfortably on your knees. Open your eyes if they were closed. Jai Ma Chinnamasta.
Jai Ma Chinnamasta.
Jai Ma Chinnamasta.
Jai Ma Chinnamasta.
Jai Ma Chinnamasta Devi.
Jai Ma Chinnamasta. Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmare Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi Om Pavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastam Gatopiva Yashmade Pandarikaksham Sabhyabhyanta Sushi Om Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnum Sashivanam Shatovijam Prasnavanandaya Sarvavigno Prasantaye Jaganesha Jai Ganesha.
Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshvara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Bandhanan Michur Mukshyam Amritahat. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Devi Prapanote Hare Prasida Prasida Matara Jagata Kilasya Prasida Vishve Svarape Vishvam Tvameshwara Devi Chachara Charasya Jema Devi.
Jai Ma Devi.
Om Vairochanye Cha Didmahe Chinnamastaye Cha Dimahi Tano Devi Prachodayat. Jema
Jai Ma
Chinnamasta.
Chinnamasta.
And if you'd like to go ahead and light the Mahagavya candles. Well, And I invite you to join me in the chanting of our puja mantra, AUM Hum Namaha. And by the way, Hum is another powerful mantra for Vajrayogini as well. AUM Hum Namaha. 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 I invite you to close your eyes and continue to join me in the mantra. AUM Hum Namaha. 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 AUM Hum Chinnamasta Namaha. I invite you to breathe deeply and let the words of our reading guide your consciousness to where it needs to be at this time. Kali the Mother, Chapter 4, The Voice of the Mother. Arise, my child, and go forth, a man. Bear manfully what is thy lot to bear. That which comes to thy hand to be done, do with full strength and fear not. Forget not that I, the giver of manhood, the giver of womanhood, the holder of victory, am thy mother. Think not life is serious. What is the destiny but thy mother's play? Come, be my playfellow a while. Meet all happenings merrily. Murmurest thou of need of purpose? Think'st thou the ball of purpose is purposeless, for which the mother plays? Knowest thou not her toy is a thunderbolt charged with power to shatter the worlds at the turn of her wrist? Ask not the plans. Needs the arrow any plan when it is loosed from the bow? Such art thou. When life is lived, the plan will stand revealed. Till then, O child of time, know nothing. My sport is unerring. For that alone set forth on this day's journey. Think it was for my pleasure that thou comest forth into the world for that again, when night falls, and my desire is accomplished, I shall withdraw thee to my rest. Ask nothing, seek nothing, plan nothing. Let my will flow through thee, as the ocean through an empty shell. But this thing understand, not one moment shall be in vain, not one effort shall fail at last. The dream shall be less, not greater than a deed. Thou shalt go here or there for some petty reason, and thy going shall subserve great ends. Thou shalt meet and speak of many, but some few meet be mine from the beginning. With these thou shalt exchange a secret sign, and they shall follow with thee. And that sign, deep in the heart of hearts of mine alone, flashes the sacrificial knife of Kali. Worshippers of the mother, they are from their birth, in her incarnation of the sword. Lovers of death are they, not lovers of life, the storm and stress. Such shall come to thee with torch unlit for fire. My voice cries out over the teeming earth for lives and blood of crowned kings of men. Remember that I who cry have shown also the way to answer. For the very kind has the mother been first for protection of her flocks, to leap to death. Religion, called by whatever name, has been ever the love of death. But today the flame of renunciation shall be lighted in my hands and consume men with a passion beyond control of thought. Then shall my people thirst for self-sacrifice as others for enjoyment. Then shall labor and suffering and service be counted sweet instead of bitter. For this age is great in time, and I, even I, Kali, am the mother of the nations. Shrink not from defeat. Embrace despair. Pain is not different from pleasure. If I will both, rejoice therefore when thou comest to the place of tears, and see me smile. At spots do I keep my tryst with men, and fold them deep into my heart. Uproot every interest that would conflict with mine. Neither love nor friendship nor comfort nor home may make its voice heard when I speak, pass a place and plunge into the ocean of terror, from the chamber of ease to stand guard in a burning city. Know that the one is unreal, and also the other. Meet fate with a smile. Look for no mercy for thyself, and I shall make thee the bearer of great vessels of mercy to others. Accept bravely thine own darkness, and thy lamp shall cheer many. Fulfill gladly the meanest service, and leave high places unsought. Be steadfast in the toil I set thee. Weave well the warp of the woof. Shrink from no demand and task makes on thee. Feel no responsibility, ask no reward. Strong, fearless, resolute, when the sun sets and the game is done, shalt thou know, well, little one, that I, Kali, the giver of manhood, the giver of womanhood, and the withholder of victory, am thy mother. Jema,
Jema.
Jema,
Jema.
Jema. Jema, 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 Jema. 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 Jema Chinnamasta Devi. Jema Chinnamasta Devi. Jema Chinnamasta Devi Namaha. Om Sarva Mangala Mangaye Shiva Svada Sadike Saranye Trambake Devi Ayane Namostute. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sana Bhavatu Sana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karevavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvidyavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Om. Jai Ganesha.
Jai Ganesha.
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Ma Devi.
Jai Ma Devi.
Jai Ma Kali.
Jai Ma Kali.
Jai Mata Di.
Jai
Jai Mata Di.
Jai Ma Devi.
Jai Mata Di. With the meditation. Again, focusing on your heart center, the presence of the Divine Mother within, as well as without. Feel her so very strong at this time, and she's there to guide you and to heal you. And once again, give gratitude to yourself for taking part in this practice. Slowly opening your eyes. Namaste. Blessings always. Thank you so very much for joining me. And Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Jai Ma. Thank you. So, in closing, there's something a little bit from yesterday. So, both Ram Prasad and Ramakrishna, who we've been talking about the last couple of days, were connected to not one, but there are really two very strong Kali temples, very important Kali temples in the city of Calcutta. Calcutta is really the city of Kali, just as Varanasi is the city of Shiva. And the first temple is Kalighat. This was built in the 1700s. You can see on this side here the famous image of Kali in that temple with the three eyes. And by the way, the first time I was ever chose to get tattooed, that was the image I had placed on my chest. And Kalighat is one of the Shakti Pitas, one of the many areas where a part of the Divine Mother is said to reside, and Ma's little toe is said to reside in this place. Very powerful temple. And this is the temple that I actually described yesterday, where the daily animal sacrifices take place, the slaughter of goats and the meat being cooked to give to the poor who live around that temple complex. And there is a large homeless population around there. Interestingly enough, Mother Teresa's House for the Dying is right next door to it. And I'd like to share with you this book illustration that I recently acquired. It was printed in 1885, and it shows the main entrance to the Kalighat temple with that famous image of the Divine Mother in the background. And I'm going to add her also to our altar today. And then the other temple, and this is the temple of Ramakrishna, Sardama, and Vivekananda, and we can see the black stone image of Kali of this temple, and that is the temple of Dakshineshvar, and I think it is one of the most beautiful temple structures in all of India. Amazing place to go to. There's a story, a very famous story of Ramakrishna and the cat. And that is Ramakrishna is in the main sanctuary of the temple, and he's ready to do the morning's puja. And this feral cat walks in to the main sanctuary. And Ramakrishna has the offerings on a tray, and he kneels down and begins to do the puja to the cat. And his disciples are wondering, and some of the other people are assembled, are just wondering what's going on here. And Ramakrishna then stated afterwards that he was reminding his disciples that the divine is in all things and in all beings. And it was just as appropriate to do the puja to that cat as it was the stone image. And that brings us back to a life of seva that these three individuals embody, including Sardama, who is a great favorite of mine, as I mentioned yesterday. When Ramakrishna died and she headed the Ramakrishna order, her life was really spent, it was mostly a life of work, taking care of monks, taking care of family members, including one niece who was suffering from some very serious psychological issues. And yet she is regarded as a saint, a very powerful saint, a living incarnation of Ma Kali herself. And yet her sadhana practice was very simple. It was really just the recitation of a few mantras that her husband had taught her. And Kim, you mentioned Jinx, my temple cat. And some of you who are regulars to this channel might remember the previous temple cat who left her body earlier this year, Pooja. So I adopted Pooja the day after I came back from that trip to Kolkata. And in the Dakshineshvar temple complex, there's a clouder of semi-feral cats living around there. And one of my last visits to Dakshineshvar, I was telling that same story of Ramakrishna and the cat to some of my fellow volunteers who came with me on that trip. And we're sitting in this sun pavilion across from the main temple sanctuary. And just as I was telling that story, one of those semi-feral cats walked past in everybody's view. And when I came back and was looking through the Humane Society shelter, there was this little kitten, about 4 months old, who looked very much like the cats at Dakshineshvar. Same kind of markings, same kind of cute, wide face that you tend to see in English short-hair cats. And that was the kitty I had for 16 years and was the original temple cat of Tridevi Chamunda Mandir, who was very appropriately named Pooja. And so I know at least one or two of you are watching right now remember dear little Pooja. And so tomorrow, our reading from Kali the Mother is entitled A Visit to Dakshineshvar. And so I'm sharing this as our closing, just as a little foretaste of our ceremony and meditation tomorrow. So I want to thank everybody for joining me, including Elizabeth and Kim, who are joining online, and also two people here, Jane and Ramsey, joining in person. I look forward to you joining me tomorrow at 6 p.m. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Also, thank you for anybody who will be watching the recording of this in the future. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
And blessings.